Welcome to this video. Today we will explore the question of why do some people find love and others don't? A question we usually hear paraphrased as, what is wrong with me? The internet is full of love stories, soulmate type connections with people who genuinely, but also questionably, have found their missing half. As this is seen in some that are experiencing it, everyone then thinks, well, it's possible for me too, right? And then, although technically it is, maybe in the span of our lives, growth and journey, we're inevitably met with the harsh reality that maybe it's not. I'm not here to break your spirit, but follow me with this one, all right? Stay with me. Some people may find somebody who would fit into the soulmate type of love, and some people may not, just as much as some people may live up to 100, and others who may even be very careful of their health may not. Some people eat donuts for breakfast and are thin, and then others have to live off of boiled chicken in order to stay in control of their weight. Why do we accept that there's different types of capacity and journeys everywhere else, but reject it when there's love? My answer to this is this because we are starting to feel like, oh, I'm worthy. And if they have it, we feel entitled that we get to have it too. Being worthy of something and being entitled to it is just two different things. And so we are just redundantly putting whatever we're seeing into one basket. And we're like, if one found love, it means we will all find love. And it makes me think of a younger me thinking that I would also want to eat chocolates all day and be skinny like those other girls who arguably do that and stay thin. And much like those we see in soulmate connections may not be as dreamy as we think they are. And to this, I also want to pose the question, how many soulmate connections did you meet in real life? And why are they all online in highlight reels? Much like in health or in other things, we could do things to help us get somewhere, but nothing will secure that we'll get there. Things like health, things like happiness, things like success. The prediction markers aren't always securing the outcome, and thinking that they do, and believing that they do, and obsessing that they do may drive us crazy in the pursuit, resolving riddles that we keep coming up with so that we can finally find a solution. Is there something that somebody can do, for example, in order to ensure that they're healthy? I mean, there's many universal accepted ways in which we can prolong our lives and to have it be the healthiest possible. But is health guaranteed because we're doing those things? Illness, mental and physical, can be prevented if we do the right things. But are we guaranteed longevity and mental stability because we're doing those practices? With the widespread of healing, spiritual concepts, manifestations of SPs and whatnot, the world now knows the power our subconscious minds hold. But we took that power and we turned it into neurotic control. In the pursuit of other things, we try to manifest what others have. And when we do not know what to do with the despair that we're feeling. That's because we try to manifest from a place of immaturity, neurotic obsession to be someone, and generally obsessively trying to control our life. We go from helpless to knowing suddenly that we are in absolute control of our lives, and we are the universe's special child, and we are entitled to love, and we deserve everything that we want. And we are in control. And that gets us a little bit crazy at the end of the day. It's like we gave the kids the illusion that they're in absolute control of everything in their lives. And now we see them throw tantrums, fall into despair, unable to accept that what they want cannot happen. Because Neville Goddard said whatever, Esther Hicks said whatever she said too. We took concepts that are universal and decided that we know the key to everything. And we get to now decide what we want, when, and how we want it. And so we're like, oh, I want to be loved and I want to find that type of soulmate and I'm going to do this manifestation practice and that's going to get me there. But we're always ignoring the element of luck, the inevitable fate, the timing of other people. I know that every one that we see is us pushed out, but is it really, right? Is it really that simplified? And is it really that easy to grasp and understand? And is it easy to just discard the influence of others in what is happening in our own lives too. The surrender that we're asked to do is allowing life to do its thing while we get a little bit out of the way. So, although we have some work to do in terms of how to attract a good relationship, how to find love, how to be open to it, how to invite it in our lives, um, through doing our own inner work, right? Healing, working on ourselves, setting boundaries, learning from our mistakes, learning from others, learning from our past relationships, but to also accept that there's a portion of what is about to happen is not in our control. People are frantically looking for a relationship and are seeing around them everybody get into one. And then these people are constantly coming back to themselves, readjusting and fixing and fixing and fixing something that may not need to be fixed anymore. And maybe what needs to be addressed is the obsession through which we're expecting love to come in and save our lives. And also that we're treating our lives looking for love as the waiting room for our entire lives. As if none of that time matters. As if, okay, I've had my fun alone. Now I need to be with someone else. I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. I can't do life anymore because I don't have what others have. And that is something that opens up a lot of things that we need to start looking towards instead of assuming and expecting. All of this will be resolved through finding love and relationship. I'm not saying you shouldn't find one. I'm not saying you shouldn't want one. I'm just gently letting you know that maybe even finding one will not alleviate you from what you're feeling, but it's going to alleviate you from the waiting. It's going to alleviate you from this anguish of isn't it happening to me? Why can't I do it? Why am I not good enough for it? And again, the distinction is it doesn't mean that I'm not good enough for it. And just being worthy of it or being good enough for it doesn't secure I'm going to get it. There's also something there that we cannot control. And I wish we would allow for that to exist in our lives instead of taking the entire blame on ourselves to such an extent. We're like children that think that everything that's happening is because of them. And because they think that, they try to fix everything, they try to manage everything, and they blame themselves for everything. And so they're fixated in the external world so much that they don't try to take care of themselves because they're only looking for the external world to feed them for what they need from within. And this force or whatever thing it is, we can attribute it to a universe, a god, guardian angels, your ancestor, unicorns, Zeus and his friends up in Olympus. Or it's just maybe your soul may have different decisions to be on earth through this lifetime. Or maybe your psyche got so injured through your childhood that you need different ways to process it. Maybe you need the solitude. Maybe you have to live in solitude. Maybe your journey is going to be more fulfilling if you follow a certain path, or maybe your path is to learn something else. Something that is not really talked about is that now that we feel more free to choose whether we're getting married or not, we're not being married off at 12 by our parents in exchange for some land. Many people are not finding a good match, which opens up a new way of thinking that the only reason people behind us, for the most part, got married off, is not because they found a good match, it's because somebody just exchanged them for land or money or animals. And now that we get to choose, it's not that we're not chosen, but we're not finding good matches, right? And in the past, if you weren't chosen for marriage or relationship, it meant you had defects. And that core belief still exists through the years and years of that being the case. And now we're like, oh, if I'm not married, if I'm not this, maybe something is wrong with me. But what if the people who are rebelling against just getting married for the sake of getting married, or those who didn't just marry without thinking about what is it like, right? Questioning the people they choose, the life they would live, if they want to have the kids, if they don't want to have the kids. What if these people are the black sheep of this generation, questioning what has always been the norm and are looked at like the ones with the problem when they're the ones that are a symptom of problematic marriages and histories of men abusing women chronically, and women chronically being unhappy in marriage, women having more kids than they should, women not having freedom to be themselves, because motherhood is great and all, but many mothers will say that they do not have a self as accessible to them ever since they became mothers. So, in a way to reclaim that self, there's a part of us that is protesting to engaging and being in these relationships. But then there's another part that says, but wait a minute, look at all these people. They found something. They're in love. They're living this. What is wrong with me? And we're excluding that we're in one path or they are on the other. It's like walking around saying, why are there people that are so tall and I'm so short? Why? I'm going to turn into somebody tall. But maybe my journey is to make do with being short to an extent, right? So if we're looking and we've been looking, there's many more things to consider that are culturally, that are collectively happening. And there's some shifts that are so important. And some people will suffer the consequences for standing on this side of the events that they're saying there's a different life path, but this life path is excruciatingly lonely, not only because I'm experiencing it firsthand, but because that's what I've been told, that I'm going to die alone with cats, that I need a partner to fulfill me, that I need to get married, that I need to do certain thing that I'm not doing. And our need for connection is so intertwined with our need to find a partner need, or the expectation to find one for fulfillment, that we don't even know what it is that we truly and deeply desire for ourselves. We see a highlight of someone's life and we're like, oh, I want that too. And that's great. Much like we could see somebody driving a Lamborghini, we're like, oh, I want that too. I badly want that too, to be fair. Am I going to go towards that? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe if my channel blows up and I get a lot of AdSense, I will be able to afford a Lamborghini. Who knows? Will I devote the rest of my life trying to get one? No. And I'm not equating getting a fancy car with finding love. I understand the need to be loved, but a portion of that need to be loved may not genuinely be what we will get in a relationship, but in a way is something that we were told that we will get fulfillment from. Like, how did all of a sudden did we go from people marrying without any true intimacy with each other to now marrying for deep love? How did we link love with marriage? How do we link partnership with happiness? How did we bring in spirituality into a conscious type relationship? Oh, there's many things to unpack here, right? Someone's like, we've replaced a little bit of what is God or whatever, our pursuit, our spiritual sort of hunger and gap. We want to fulfill it through a partner. We've put this divine label into basically just finding a person we want to share our lives with because we don't want to be alone. But also, gosh, I have so much to say. I've kind of scripted some of it and then I'm off the rails. I hope some of these reflections are giving you something to think about as to the fact that we want love so deeply may also be because as children, we were neglected and we didn't get enough love. And so our need to recover the love we didn't get has been merged with the need to find a partner, whereas that need exists on its own and the partner doesn't necessarily bring the relief for that need, right? It's almost like we want the corrective experience of our childhood to be love forever in the face of one person, but maybe it's self-love, self-connection, community, people, friends, lovers too, right? It's not just the person. To me, looking for that person gives me a little bit of the feeling of looking for that perfect mother in a partner, looking for that corrective experience to help us reestablish what was broken in the past. And in the interim, as we're trying to get it, we fall into the pattern of unlovability that we've always lived in, right? Trying hard to get something that others seem to have. Back then, maybe it was our siblings, maybe it was our friends, but for some reason we can't get. So it's a reaffirming thing that we keep looping around. So back to why some people may find love and others don't. Many reasons. But what happens is many people will say, you know what? I read this book and then I went out and I met my partner. You should read this book. And then you read the book and you're like, And then you go on TikTok and someone like, you know what? If you eat 12 grapes before midnight, you will find your partner. That's what I did. And look at me eating the grapes. Fast forward a year later, I'm married. And you're like, oh, I'm going to do that. So we keep trying to bringing whatever people are saying they did right before they found a relationship. But that was their path, that was their life. And yes, there's things to work through: attachment, worthiness, our history with people and love altogether, generational trauma. And in my work is what I see, right? When people come to me, I can't do things for them. But what I can do is clear up what stands in the way for what they want. But then also there's the element called life that is going to bring its own things. It's almost like we are in the current. Like if we have blocks, with like, let's say life is like this flow that comes through us. And if we have trauma, negative beliefs, and fears, we're blocked, right? We don't let any of that in. And as we heal, we're just opening little doors here and there, and things flow in. And as we heal more and more, then we are in the flow of life, and life flows through us. I don't know what life has in store for you. I don't know what life has in store for me. And not everybody's entitled to the same life just because we see it. There are ways to make it happen, and there are ways to try and manifest. But there's also a lot of freedom in saying that, you know what, I've done my work. I've removed the obstacles. I've worked on myself. I've worked through my generational trauma, through my sense of worth, through my attachment injuries, through my relationship with my parents, through my self concept, through my inner critic. I did the basic stuff like this. What I do in my mentorship is more like a cleanup, touching on the basic events and the most formative events that may have changed who I was and removed me from the flow of life, from just receiving, because I'm like, I'm defended, right? Life is coming and I'm like, no, no, I don't want this. I don't want this. I want the other. I don't want that. I want the other. And we're like controlling, which is why so many of you are in limerence, right? In the pursuit of controlling. It's like if you are there and like, I'm going to control it, I'm going to live it right here. I want that person to love me because I decided that that person is going to love me, instead of being open to love in general. If you're being open to love in general, it means you're being open to life in general, and to self-love, and to friendship love, and to everything love, not just romantic love. But the pursuit of the romantic love comes from such a sense of lack and wanting to establish ourselves as somebody who, look at me, I'm also like you guys. Many people rush to get married or rush to be in relationships or stay in relationships they don't enjoy for reasons that have to do with how it looks to the world and what it means about them, while they're silently suffering. The thing is that you don't see that online as much. You see the other stuff. I do, though, because I work with people all the time. So when some people find love and others don't, there's an element of what we can do to work towards being open towards life and love, present, in alignment. We're no longer carrying generational drama. We're no longer living the life of our ancestors. We're not trying to make everybody be happy. We're not trying to live our lives like a constant protest of what happened to us or to people before us. And then there's the element of life itself. So am I saying don't manifest or that it doesn't work? I don't, right? I hope I've explained myself properly in this. I just want you to start thinking of the things that you're seeing others have. For the most part, you can understand that you can't have them. But when it comes to love, for some reason, we do not accept that it may not be happening for us for one reason or the next. And as we are doing all of that obsessiveness, we're not present enough to even see it if it's happening and when it happens, and decide what kind of thing we want, right? When it comes, if it's a good fit for us, or we just be like, oh, well, finally I found it. I'm gonna make it work, because what am I gonna do if not? It becomes like I have to get rid of this feeling that something is wrong with me by finding that. It's no longer the need of that, but so much of I want to relief from what I'm feeling because I can't find it. So, to summarize, I've said so many things. I believe that life flows through us, right? We're vessels of life just coming for us. And the way we think and the things that we do and the wounds we carry will determine whether we're able to see and receive the good things, because many of us will block out anything good, no matter how much we say we want it, because we are not in a state of being open to things. We're very locked in our ways, obsessively looking for something. Reminds me of a movie I saw. I don't even know the name anymore. I don't remember. But there was this scientist that his wife got a rare illness. And he spent day and night trying to figure out the illness. And she would come into his office and be like, I want to spend time with you. Let's go out. Let's play. And he was like, no, I can't. And he was always so angry, trying to find the solution. And he stopped spending time with her. And then she passed. And he missed out on that time. Kind of reminds me of that, right? When life is happening, we're so obsessively trying to make something happen. So obsessively. We forget that life in the interim is happening. And when we were not really here for it, it actually annoyed us. We're like, I'm busy. I'm busy obsessing. I'm busy manifesting. I'm busy doing this. I'm busy trying to find something that I don't have. And at the same time, I'm busy. I'm so busy, I'm not able to appreciate what I do have. And I'm just treating my whole life as this long, boring, annoying waiting room of my life after. So, work is to clear up what we can through working through our childhood. That's the most massive and impactful and incredible work we do. Not because there's a reward, oh, we're going to do it and then I'm going to find love. No, but because what else would one do if they knew that their psyche is wounded, if they knew that they went through so much? Instead of obsessively looking for someone to fix it for us and love to reestablish our worth, we can just dedicate ourselves to doing the work. If we knew that we were suffering, that we have a psyche that is suffering, would we be telling our psyche, I will get you love once I fix you, or I want to deeply know you and what happened to you? And perhaps if we were able to dig deeper and listen more into our own inner wisdom and not just the one of others, and seeing what others have and want to bring it into our lives, thinking that this will solve it for us, would maybe see how the solitude we're experiencing may also be precisely what we needed. Maybe this is part of the journey. And what seems to be a bad outcome for us in comparison to others, may just be the corrective experience that is absolutely fitting for us, for our growth, for our development, for what we want to give into this world. For some people who had a very bad childhood and a very emotionally invasive experience, staying single and finding joy in that may be the actual medicine that they need. And for some people, it may be the exact opposite, which is why some people may find their life partner when they're 18 and be in love forever. And some people may find it later in life. Whenever they're ready, whenever the other person is ready, whenever it happens, whenever the circumstances align, all we can control is our part, our work, not to get the reward, but to appreciate fully and to work fully with what we have, which is ourselves, our wounded selves. And, different injuries have different responses, and different wounds have different antidotes. Finding romantic love is sold, I'm afraid, as the antidote for everything, when it's really not. And for some people, actually could make things worse for where they currently are right now, because they're treating it as this thing that would just alleviate the symptoms, as I said before. And since I said so many things, if there's one thing I want you to take from my words today, is that finding love will not be what will alleviate the anguish in the search of yourself, even if that feels like the end all solution, even if it's presented this way by those who found it, even if they tell you that they know exactly how you can do it like themselves, and if you follow their exact footsteps, read the book, eat the grapes, do the thing, say the words, write the list, um, it may not happen. And there's liberation in thinking, what if it doesn't happen? Can we survive if it doesn't happen? Can we find meaning if it doesn't happen? Not resign from it happening, but start making our lives purpose, finding it, and start centering our attention to ourselves, to our healing, to our growth, to our gifts that we want to give this world. So, for you to find what the real medicine is for your own wounds, your own injuries, perhaps you need to stop looking for the prescribed antidote everyone is selling and focus on finding yourself. Your wounds heal and grow, not as a means to an end, not as a reward or a happy forever after, but as a journey in and of itself. Your own personal, unique journey to self actualization. That's it from me today. I'll see you guys soon.